one of the best things that you can do is collaborate. Find other people who are doing similar things to you, or people that you look up to, or people that maybe are at the same level as you, and do some sort of collaboration with them. And obviously, I mean, I rely on that. I guess collaborate with creators all the time because I interview them and I, dive into their YouTube channels and what they're interested in. But as a YouTuber specifically, how would you recommend people go about pursuing collaborations with other YouTubers?
I have a whole course on this actually because I think it's so important, but no one really thinks collaborations are that important, so no one buys the course. But and that's not a plug, by the way. I'm not going to tell you the name of the course, so you can't buy it. I think one of the things that blows my mind that people don't realize that I think is so powerful is that you don't have to just collaborate with people who are on your level. Like, collaboration is a value exchange. That most traditional form of that is you're exchanging the value of exposure to your audience in exchange for them giving you the value of exposure to their audience. But exposure isn't the only currency in this game. So something that I used to be able to do, and like all the time, and it would work like really well when I was smaller, and when I was smaller and I had the skills, but I might not have had the followers, I would reach out to big creators, and firstly, I would do a whole bunch of research. I'd find a creator that I liked in a niche that I liked, and I'd do a whole bunch of research into that niche. I'd try and find like really good viral video ideas. I'd try and, create basically the best video possible, or best video outline possible, and create an amazing thumbnail and title and all that kind of thing. And then I'd reach out to these creators and be like, hey, I really love your channel, blah, blah, blah. Love to work together. Here's this video idea that I've really thoroughly researched that I think will do really well for XYZ reason. Like, here's what, and I'd love to do it with you, and I'm happy to do all of the editing, to do all of the scripting and all of the work. Like, all you literally have to do is show up for like 20, 30 minutes or whatever it is and help me record and create. Because the thing a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of these big creators, they're trying to put out more content that's good content, that gets views, that works. But they don't have time, and they struggle with time. And so for them, even though they're not going to get any exposure from your small channel, it's still a win because they're getting a piece of content created for like 20 minutes of work that's like a really good piece of content, as opposed to, them having to spend 4 or 5 hours on it themselves. And so obviously there's a level, there's a level, like you can't go reaching out to a creator with like 1 million subscribers when you got like 100 and try and use this because it's probably not going to work. But within like a 10x rule, I like to think about it. So like if you've got, 1,000 subscribers, you can do this to someone who's got 10,000 subscribers, and you'd be surprised how likely they are to say yes, even though they're 10 times your size. So yeah, like as an overarching concept, I do think collaborations are really valuable, but like don't settle for just that classic, I've got 50 subscribers, he's got 50 subscribers, I'll just collaborate with him. Like that can work, but like you can be getting so much more value for that time spent collaborating with someone who has 500 subscribers.
Completely. I really love that you shared all of that. One of the biggest lessons that I've learned in this show is people that you think are just like above you. And I think you mentioned this at the start of this conversation, which was, oh, this person has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They are at another level. They have something that I don't have. They sit at a table that I don't sit at. They are above me. And obviously I reach out to people every week to invite them on this show. Most people don't respond. That's just, in my opinion, just kind of a normal conversion rate, especially for some schmo who they've never heard of. But I'm always shocked because it's like people do respond. I mean, to be candid, I emailed you. You responded to my email and agreed to sit down with me today and have this conversation. And I guess to really detail the answer you just gave, and I guess to put you on the spot a little bit, you had never heard of me when I emailed and reached out to you. Why did you say yes to this conversation today?
Nah, because I like the sound of my own voice. Nah. I think it's, yeah, I don't know. I think a couple of reasons. Like, I enjoy talking about this stuff. Like, you seem to be doing some really cool work, so I wanted to help support that in a way if I could. Um, and obviously, there's always the value as well of potentially like me being able to use some of this and cut it, maybe clips or something into my own type of video. So, but I think a point you brought up there is really valuable and also something that might be useful for people to know. And that is like even really, really large YouTubers who you might think are getting huge amounts of messages and aren't reading their messages. Often they do read them and they just don't get back to you, or they have an assistant read them. So if you have something interesting enough or something good enough, chances are they'll see it. Because, like, remember that email address on their YouTube channel is the same email address that brands and sponsors contact them through. So, like, they're checking that email address because they might have some big brand deal come through that's paying them tens of thousands of dollars, and they don't want to miss that. So if you're using that exact same email, they probably see you. The problem is most people reach out, and I get this all the time. It's like, oh, can you help me? Can you give me a shout out? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And it's very them centered, and they don't think at all about like why it would benefit me beyond just being philanthropic. And sometimes it's okay to help people out. Like I created a whole video for free on this dude who like a 27-minute video on this dude who just randomly reached out and emailed me and like reviewing his whole channel and all that kind of thing. Sometimes you do that, but I have limited time just like everyone else, and so it usually has to be something like relatively interesting or relatively good for me to want to try it out. And so if you're reaching out to people and stuff, the first thing is a lot of the time those YouTubers or at least their assistants actually do see your emails. Or a reason you're probably like you said, there'll obviously be a very large percentage who won't be able to get back to you because of time or things like that. But if you're able to add enough value to them and make it enticing enough to them instead of making it all about how they can help you, you'll probably find that you'll actually start getting responses from people who you would never have thought you would get responses from.
Completely. What I heard from all of that was you love the sound of your own voice and you are bleeding me dry for more content.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's it.
No, thank you for saying all of that. And I didn't ask you that question just to fish for compliments or praise or anything, but yeah, like you said earlier, it's just a very important point to drive home. People are just people, regardless of the size of their channels or how successful they are. Like at the other end of that email address is just some other human being who may or may not be interested. So you might as well hit send. So thank you for that.